we have not done enough AJ Fernandez cigars, and that's my fault. Okay, it's Fingers Malloy's fault. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is the man to blame, America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. What?
I have always had an open AJ Fernandez policy.
That's what you say now. That's what you say now. AJ Fernandez does the New World. You may have seen that cigar before. They do the San Lotano, a series of smokes. And of course, AJ Fernandez does a lot of collaborations with other people. But I had not been aware of the Viva La Vida. And it's interesting to me because it is a kind of cool mix of tobaccos. You're talking about a Habano Oscuro 2000 wrapper, a Corojo 99 binder, and a Criollo 98 filler. So you've got this wrapper that's used in Tatuaje cigars, right? And has a tremendous amount of flavor to it. Earthy. It's got a good bit of spice in there. Got some woodiness. You have this Criollo, Criollo, which is kind of earthy, meaty kind of mix. A wrapper that, oddly enough, usually you would think is a bit grittier. This is actually a touch smoother, but you can feel the veining of the leaf in there. I don't know. It just hit me as it's an interesting mix of tobaccos going on. It's a 6x54 Toro, which means it is 6 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is a 54. That's the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. A 64 ring gauge would be a full 1 inch around. We have just cut this. We have just lit this up. The color on here is a brown with a hint of red. I don't know if you would say that it's auburn. I don't know if you'd say if it's copper. I think it does have that reddish hue to it that kind of makes it stick out a little. Like, hey, this is a little bit different than what you normally think of as a cigar wrapper color.
Is it a little bit light in the hand for you?
You would think 6x54 would have a little more heft to it.
Yeah.
A little more billy club, which is where we like to be. That's our terminology for it. Maybe, but not wiffle ball bat. I don't feel like I could throw this away, but maybe you'd want a little bit more feel in there. Hand feel matters, guys. And we like it when a cigar feels like it should be in your hand. It's not going to just blow away in the wind.
Yeah. And, like you said, it's the wrapper is beautiful. The hand feel is nice. It does feel, like I said, a little light. We just lit this. For me, I'm getting some pepper and maybe a little bit of creaminess. But when I say we just lit this, I mean we just lit this a minute ago.
We're going to need a little bit of time here. What you want to do is get your notebooks out. What'd you eat today? What'd you drink today? The weather has been humid crap in Indianapolis, Indiana. It has been brutal and terrible. I have not left the house. No, I live here now. This is where I have everything I need. Humidor, check. Sandwiches, check. I'm done.
Buzzballs.
Well, are we doing that today?
Soon. Not today. We're gonna put that in the old back pocket for later.
Yeah, Fingers Malloy got us something to try, some Buzzballs. Those are those kinds of things you get at the liquor store. They're there at the counter, and you're like, oh, there's a good way to blow $2. But what I learned here is that this company is women-owned, and Fingers Malloy, feminist.
That's so true. But I got a charge out of you saying those were $2. In 2024, $73.50.
That's not true.
They were $3.99 a piece.
Were they really?
Yes.
And you bought them?
This is the kind of stuff that I do for Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation.
But we are not drinking those today. You'll see those in a future episode. It's called the Tease.
There it is.
Is that what it's called? Smoking from A.J. Fernandez. I believe they call it the Artesano del Tabaco Viva La Vida by A.J. Fernandez. That's the full name. I believe that is the full name of the cigar. But you get the notebook out. What'd you eat? What did you drink today? And the weather, right? All these things are going to affect your palate in different ways. You just don't know until you start really kind of paying attention to it and seeing where your notes take you. Then take the cigar, break it up into thirds. First third, second third, final third. And then what is the flavor profile? What are you getting from that cigar? Write that down. When you try it a month from now or 6 months from now, you do the same thing. Check your notes. You'll see your through lines. You'll see where it is that your palate is. You'll be like, okay, that's what I experienced from the cigar.
Nice bit of pepper for me as I continue to get into the first third. I'm curious what you're getting out of it.
Well, I have it paired with coffee right now, and I will admit, it's not your radios, ladies and gentlemen. My voice is screwed. So I am convinced it's allergies.
Okay.
I had thought, for my day job, we do a lot of political coverage, and there was a whole political convention that took place last week, and I was up every night for it. And you guys know, if you don't know, I do a morning radio show in Indianapolis. So I was at bed at 1, I was up at 5. That could absolutely mess with the voice. And then I'm watching a political convention. So that's, 7, 8 cigars a night, right? You were there. Wait a second. You were there, Fingers.
I was here.
Right.
In the studio. I wasn't at the convention.
Correct.
But the convention covered, it was in all the papers.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. They even talked about it in the funnies.
That's so true. But do you feel like you need a lozenge?
No, it's just, so I thought it was just staying up late and getting up early. And then yesterday, all of a sudden I'm like, where's my Flonase? Like, where is all my stuff? I could feel it in every part of my sinuses. So I think it is allergies. And I get it. The weather is changing. Winter is coming, as they say in the Game of Thrones.
That is true. Can I give you a little bit of advice from someone who never gets sick?
Is that right?
You need more gas station food in your diet.
Is that what I need?
That's what you need.
More things from a convenience store?
Yes.
More things from a vending machine?
It'll toughen that throat right up.
It drives me crazy. It's not like I make a living with this thing or anything. No, that doesn't matter. I couldn't get a case of the gout. I could survive the gout.
Yeah, but you don't want the gout.
Oh, I don't want the gout?
No, you don't.
What do I think of this cigar? The Artesano del Tabaco Viva La Vida. So far, first of all, I think the burn is wonderful. The draw is a little loose. I wouldn't mind if it was tightened up a bit. We have a straight cut on this cigar. Oddly enough, no wood. I'm not getting any cedar or any of that. The spice is subtle. I think it's actually a little bit of nut and a little bit of tobacco forward, which I don't mind. I dig tobacco, which for some people might be seen as a different way of talking about earthiness. But I think earthiness, I almost get like the feel of dirt and I don't know if you did on the pre-light. You checked out the scent of the farm.
Oh no, I missed that.
This thing was throwing off a little scent of the farm, which means it has a smell like you ever been to a
farm?
You ever been to a farm? Fingers?
Once.
Yeah, well, like that. Which honestly, I'm down with in the cigar. Now the question is this in your humidor? From AJ Fernandez, the Viva La Vida right here. We just started smoking it. We are going to get a little more into the cigar before we give you our thoughts. But what does it cost? We'll get to that coming up. In case we needed more reasons to absolutely despise the TSA, and I say this as a guy who often flies with Fingers Malloy and is making his life more difficult every single second.
I breeze right through security.
It's because you don't wear pants. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is Fingers Malloy. Our book, Let's Go Bourbon. Our book, Let's Go Barbecue, available at Amazon.com. Let's Go BBQ, recipes, tips, and tales from the pit. And Let's Go Bourbon, the bourbon reader you've always needed. Buy them for Christmas now. Before what?
Before supplies run out. Because as you know, Tony, if you order a book from Amazon.com, supplies are limited.
Get it now. Let's Go BBQ. Let's Go Bourbon. Available at Amazon.com. Yes, the TSA is a ridiculous organization.
I feel like the last time you traveled, you had a TSA story you were going to share with us, but I don't believe you actually shared it with us.
Did I never share being in Orlando, being in the security line of 400 people?
By the way, you already have me. Sounds delightful.
First, the way Orlando does it, they have people at a far end and people at a near end. If you're at the far end, they check your ID and then they put you in the queue of death. They call it. Actually, I believe it's the queue of perpetual sadness, and you have to walk and join the people on the near side. Well, the people on the near side just keep coming. And nobody is there to stop the people on the near side so the people on the far side can actually join the line. So they stand there just waiting. You let somebody in, you go in. You let the next person in, you go in. There's a normal way to do this. And all of a sudden, everybody forgets. And nobody from TSA gives a good holy you-know-what. Now, I know that there are people at TSA who listen to the show who get bothered by the idea that I am bothered with them. My answer is do better and tell your bosses to do better. It infuriates me that there's not only nobody to complain to, but they actually have signs up at airports that say, if you say anything nasty to a TSA agent, you're guilty. This is insane. You have free speech unless somebody's wearing blue gloves. That is nutty.
It's actually part of the Constitution.
I want to you shut your face. I just want to say for the record, guys, I wasn't going to bring any of this up. Fingers Malloy decided, hey, let's poke the Tony Bear. And now this is what you get. So we're all in this absolutely humid, sweltering hellscape, the queue of perpetual sadness. And it goes on for forever. And at one moment, I look over to my left, past the security, where freedom is, where America lies. This was my East Berlin moment. I'm staring to where America is. I am in a suit, but I've taken the jacket off. Why?
Savage.
It is, I know, it's disgustingly hot. And there were 40 TSA agents, I guess just waiting for their assignment. And they're giggling, and some of them are sitting on the machines, just their feet dangling while they're checking their phones. None of them deserved a job. I am not interested in being someone's friend. I know I'm going to get pulled out of line next time I'm at an airport. I expect it to be vindictive. This is nuts. First, not to be political, but this is what happens when you don't have competition. You have to deal with the TSA. They can do anything they want. There is no one to complain to. It will never change. What you need to do is elect people who run on the premise of, I'm going to have the TSA disbanded and then I'm going to resign. They are only going to do one thing. 40 of them. They see us. Nothing. They are between the inability to recognize, hey, maybe we should get the line flowing nice and easy. Nope, that's not my job. My job is to look at this thing here. I look at the machine that goes ping. That's all I do.
What was that again?
And ping.
Thank you.
That's all I do. And I don't do anything else. Don't recognize that maybe you can make people's lives easier.
They aren't getting paid by the passenger, Tony. They're getting paid by the hour, my friend.
The problem is they're getting paid at all.
Wow.
You stop it. I'm right. And anybody supporting the TSA right now, clearly, I'm not going to lie. That is somebody that's somebody who likes Tootsie Rolls.
I think the TSA does a wonderful job of screening passengers in a timely manner and keeping us safe and keeping me off a watch list.
Wait till I'm done. Just pure, unadulterated evil is watching the TSA at not work.
Well, have you seen their Twitter account?
Oh, yes, I forgot. That's where we started. I am not a fan of the TSA. I don't mean to come full circle, but that's where I'm at. This is the tweet. This is the post from the TSA. Peanut butter is a liquid. We said what we said. First thing, TSA, don't have a sense of humor. I don't get to have a sense of humor. When I say, you're so out of shape, you look like a liquid, I don't get to have a sense of humor with you. I go to jail or get fined or something like that. You don't get to make jokes on social. Secondly, what the hell? Well, they argue and that peanut butter is technically, this is with a community note, a Bingham plastic, which is a subset of non-Newtonian fluids. But under the rules, it's classified as a liquid, not a solid. The TSA considers the nut spread a liquid, but is unrestricted is if it's a sandwich ingredient. First, they don't at all explain the concept of crunchy.
Well, that's true. Also, if you can get around the liquid rules by putting it in a sandwich, there are a lot of happy men out there now knowing that they could put a full bottle of Drakkar in between two pieces of bread and be able to get it right through TSA.
Drakkar?
Yeah. Shoop?
Liquids. I couldn't figure out what you were doing. I had no idea where that bit was going at all. God bless me.
Maybe it's because it's the first time Drakkar has been mentioned in front of you in 10 years.
Are you telling me that if I have a jar of peanut butter that my mother gave me on her deathbed, son, blah, 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 I have been saving this jar of peanut butter and I want you to have it. Share it with the kinder.
Sounds like an awesome Hallmark movie.
And tell them that I love them. And also, I didn't leave them anything in the will because they're terrible. And she goes, and I bring it home. That's how she goes. In my story, right? That's how I envision the TSA people. And then gone, and then I could walk freely like a grown man in America. And I want to bring the jar of peanut butter home, and we will pass out the sliced bread and make peanut butter sandwiches and say, to Grandma, she left us nothing in the will, but at least tonight we don't go hungry. And all of a sudden, TSA is going to say, sorry, you can't celebrate, Grandma. That's a liquid.
That inheritance peanut butter is going straight in the trash.
It's not even American anymore. It's not. And I can't believe you're defending this.
Aren't you worried that half the passengers are going to be allergic to your inheritance peanut butter anyway?
They can drive. That's what they can do. Except for when TSA now exists, I can drive. It's the worst. By the way, I fly next week.
Good luck.
It's going to be great. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is Fingers Malloy. He is America's favorite amateur drinker smoking the Artesano del Tabaco Viva La Vida. We just call it the Viva La Vida right there. From AJ Fernandez, the Toro 6x54. Nice mix of tobaccos with that Habano Oscuro wrapper and that Criollo 98 filler. Spice is picking up on this cigar, but I'm not getting a pickup that much of the wood. Earthy, little bit of nut. The spice is what is picking up. From the back of the tongue to the middle tongue is where I'm feeling it.
Now, for me, that spice is starting to subside a little bit, but I'm actually picking up a little bit of nuttiness and a little bit of wood as well, and I'm getting a hint of that scent of the farm.
Are you?
Yeah, a little bit.
So would you consider that an earthiness, a dirt, or would you consider that a...
Scent of the farm.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing.
No.
Along with that nuttiness and some wood, and like I said, that pepper, that spice is starting to subside a little bit for me. But like we mentioned earlier, it's a decent hand feel. I think the draw is fine. Has the draw improved for you?
A touch. It's a touch loose for me. A touch loose. I wouldn't mind it to be a little bit tighter, but it's not enough to get me upset. The question, Fingers Malloy, the Viva La Vida Toro, is this in your humidor for $10.75 a stick?
I mean, we're just in the first third, but if it continues to hit me like it is now, the construction is good. We've had not had any problems maintaining the cigar. I haven't had to touch mine up once. I don't know about you.
Nope.
It's probably a yes.
Not only am I a yes, but I may shock you by saying this possibly, if we were going by price, could make my end of the year list. Because we have been through so many cigars lately where we have said, if it was just $3 less, if it was just $2 less, right. Oh man, that price. $11. $11 for a Toro that has flavor. And by the way, if you're somebody who skews to the full power cigar, a full flavor cigar, full body, I should say. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There is a reason to go down this road. You're not looking for a massive level of complexity. You like a spice punch. You like a tobacco hit. There is no reason why this isn't a weekend dandy for you.
So does this make you rethink your bias against AJ Fernandez?
As somebody who has never had a bias against AJ Fernandez and finds AJ Fernandez to be chock full of machismo.
Wow.
I'm not even sure where that came from. They do some cigars that I like, and they've got a couple in the New World series that I think are very, very good. I am curious if this is going to end up being a bit bigger than I like to do. I'm willing to bet that it is.
So I could see more AJ Fernandez cigars in Eat, Drink, Smoke's future.
It's very possible that you could see more AJ Fernandez cigars in our future. I don't know why we haven't done more of them. I'm not opposed to AJ Fernandez in the slightest. But this at under $12, under $11, I should say.
Yeah.
For the full-bodied fan, the spice hit, this is a winner. It might not be your favorite, but like, yep, that goes. I can grab that anytime. That's going to be perfect for. I use the term weekend dandy.
Oh,
I believe is what I did, and yeah, and lately, if you go back the past 2 months. Right? If you get the podcast, eatdrinksmokeshow.com or wherever it is you get your podcast, Eat, Drink, Smoke, go back. We have had this price conversation. Like, except for last week when we did the Ometepe from Plasencia, which is a $100 cigar. And it was wonderful. I don't know if it was worth $100. Wonderful, wonderful stick. I don't have to question here. I know what I'm getting. There is a seriously good construction here. And boom. I'm getting spice, which is right now growing. I'm not even holding the cigar. I'm not even holding. It's growing.
Probably doing wonders for your throat right now.
It is a full. It fits. It fits a profile, right? It might not be your profile, but it fits a profile and it fits a price point. Absolutely. People are going to do this. No question.
All right, you talked me into it. It's in my humidor.
It's time, Fingers Below, for Eat, Drink, Smoke. Nope. News of the week.
On Eat, Drink, Smoke.
On Eat, Drink, Smoke.
So here we go. First of all, I want to wish everyone out there a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves and behaving. AAA.
Behaving. Thanks, Dad.
AAA is reporting that travel bookings for this Labor Day weekend are up 9% from a year ago, Tony. So, the economy, getting some mixed signals. You're seeing unemployment numbers go up, jobless. The number of jobs created, that statistic was, almost 1 million jobs. They projected over what were actually created during a 9-month period earlier this year. And but then you see stuff like this. People are still willing to spend money on travel. Yeah, there's a really interesting story about Abercrombie and Fitch, where you do your shopping, Fingers Malloy. I get all my stuff there.
That their sales were up 21%. 21%. And then in literally the same day, they're giving guidance to a questionable future. And you're like, how is that possible? What is happening? At the same time, there is a story that credit card debt for the last quarter is now $1.14 trillion. It went up $27 billion. The spending on travel, the spending on clothes, the spending all over the place, I am so convinced it is indeed this doom spending idea. Man, it's all going to fall apart. It's all going to collapse, and I might as well have the new thing. It's not like I'm going to be paying my credit card bill anyway. And defaults are starting to happen. So yes, They're traveling. They're going everywhere. I think it's because maybe they were locked up for 3 years and they really still want to get out, which I understand. And I think some of it is better do it now because you're not going to be able to afford it tomorrow.
Very much a YOLO mentality. AAA also gave us a list of the top 5 domestic travel destinations this Labor Day weekend, and they kind of surprised me, a few of them, Tony.
Yes.
Number 1 on the list, Seattle, Washington.
Why not? You go, you check out the fish market, you get some coffee, get a Mariners game, you go take a look at the Pacific Northwest, the water there, you're like, hello, whales.
Hello, whales?
That's what I would say.
I'm just surprised that, you think traditionally of Labor Day, it's the last real weekend of the year, of the summer, I should say. Seattle doesn't scream to me a summer destination.
If you were in a place that had massive humidity and everything else, maybe you think it was cool, maybe a touch rainy, you'd be like, you know what, this is a welcome respite.
Number 2 on the list, Orlando, Florida.
Well,
I hear they got a great airport.
There you go. If you see the TSA there, tell them from me. If you would, or well, taking the kids to Disney, I guess.
Anchorage, Alaska, number 3.
Same thing as the first one, and I cannot wait to go.
New York, number 4.
We're on the air in Anchorage.
Yes,
and I'm just saying right now, I cannot wait to go.
New York, number 4. Man, a hot, humid day in New York City can be miserable.
Right.
So that surprised me. Boston tops the list of the top 5 destinations for Labor Day, and I could totally see that.
By the way, KFQD. That's our Anchorage station. We love you guys. We should come visit, shouldn't we?
It feels like every day you turn around and companies are trying to nickel and dime you to death. Now in Las Vegas, there's a new fee that is being charged by a major resort, and people are going to be outraged when they hear about it. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Fingers Malloy along with Tony Katz. If you missed any of the broadcast today, remember you can find the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Just ask for it by name. Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Right.
Tony.
Yes.
MGM Resorts is apparent.
Those people.
Well, let me finish.
Oh.
Maybe you won't feel this way so much after I tell you what they're doing. They're apparently charging $15 extra per room per night if your room was reserved through a human being.
What?
They're going to start charging you $15 extra per room per night if your room was reserved through a human being calling and making a reservation, talking to a real person, as opposed to booking it on the World Wide Web.
Okay. We really want to eliminate all human contact, don't we? This is called the Fingers Malloy plan, and it is working. It is working.
But usually it's free.
If you told me that they were going to charge me $15 to speak to someone to do the reservation, I would say it's insane, it's ridiculous, and then I would, if I had to, talk to the person and pay the $15. Per night?
Yes.
I made the reservation once. I only talked to the person once. Why on a 4-night stay do I have to pay an extra $60?
Plus tax. Casino.org has the story. One recent visitor who shared their bill and their displeasure paid MGM $15 for each night of a 3-night stay booked through a live agent, including the $6.03 tax charged on the fee. The total charge for not booking online was $51.03.
That's twisted. That is twisted. And you have every right to look MGM in the eye and say you're nuts. And absolutely, I'm sorry I gave you any praise, MGM. Go somewhere else. Stay somewhere else. Bye. Also, I must admit, I don't know the last time I actually spoke to a human being and made a reservation.
I do it all the time.
What?
I do it all the time when it comes to booking a Las Vegas room. Now, what will be interesting to find out is if this also includes when you are talking to someone when you are getting a reservation due to a comped room or points that you've earned through your play in Las Vegas. But a lot of times Las Vegas, they set the standard. Is this going to start happening throughout the country? Other mega resorts, other, say high-end chains like maybe Marriott or Hilton, are they going to start wanting to do this? This is really something else. If you talk to people who go to Las Vegas on a regular basis, we were just out there not too long ago. I talked to a couple of locals who were smoking a cigar at a locals casino, and one works for a casino out there. And they both asked me about my experience. And without even finishing my sentence, they said, let me guess, payouts are less and you're being charged more for things you weren't charged before. It's like you're dead on. The fees are going up. It seems like most resorts in Vegas now are making you pay for parking that they never used to before. The resort fees sometimes are just as much, or if not more, than the actual room rate itself. So is there going to come a point as casino gaming becomes more popular outside of Las Vegas, and it feels like there are casinos springing up all over the country, people are going to make the decision, why am I going to fly out to Las Vegas and be abused like this?
So a great example of this is the cigar show we go to every year in Vegas called the Premium Cigar Association Trade Show. And this coming year, it is not in Vegas, it's in Nolens. That's how the people say it. They say Nolens. And Fingers Malloy was very upset because when we head out to Vegas for the show, we go a day early, and it is 24 hours of Fingers.
It's true. He
eats where he wants to eat. He has his video poker. He doesn't have to do any work. Nothing is required of him. No video, no engineering, nothing. It is just Fingers, a video poker machine, a drink that he gives a fine, crisp $1 bill tip for each and every time, and the tears rolling down his face because this is the America that George Washington dreamed of.
I'm getting misty just thinking about it.
So he was bothered that we're not going to be in Vegas. And so when we spoke to some people about this, can you believe they're moving it to Nolens? They were thrilled, overjoyed. Why? Vegas is so damn expensive. The hotels are expensive. You can't afford to take everybody out to dinner. The whole thing is ridiculous. Thrilled to be getting out of here. Now, I don't think that Nolens is going to be that much cheaper. Do you?
No.
Do you? I mean, it's not. But man, people were overjoyed by this.
I think where you may find it cheaper is when it comes to eating out. It got to the point where, you and I were looking around just for a burger, and you weren't paying any less than $15, $18 for just a hamburger and fries.
Right.
So there may be cheaper deals when it comes to food, but I don't know as far as lodging goes. But you can still get cheap rooms in Las Vegas. But again, the nickel and diming. I mean, what's really frustrating is when you go to a hotel that doesn't have a pool, barely has a gym, and they hit you with a $20 a night resort fee, and you're asking yourself, what resort? Oh, for Wi-Fi? I'm paying $20 a day for really slow Wi-Fi, and then they have the guts to call it a resort fee. It's like, resort. This is a glorified Days Inn, and there's nothing wrong with Days Inn. I love Days Inn, but still, well, does Days? It's like a Motel 6 charging you a resort fee. I mean, come on, would you stand for that?
You are an angry, bitter man, and I don't appreciate it.
$25 a night for a resort fee for Wi-Fi that you could barely download your emails and basic cable.
All right. But
free local calls.
Thank goodness. I'm going to go make a friend immediately, if not sooner. By the way, we are not on the air in Nolens just yet. We are on in Shreveport on KEEL. And I don't think they would appreciate us bringing that up in the same. I don't know. Do they have like a thing they don't want to be brought up in the same sentence? Just because it's Louisiana, it's not the same Louisiana?
You're saying it's the Hatfields and the McCoys is what you're saying?
I don't know. It's just... It's just we're in Indianapolis, and one of the things that was always fascinating when I moved to Indy was that no one here ever said, "Man, we really need to be Little Chicago." Like, that never happened. It never came up. Maybe someone could think of it, right? Because Chicago is the larger city, just a few hours up the road. It never happened. It never came up, and it never got lumped in. But maybe there are cities that get lumped in because there is a larger city, a more well-known city, and other places are like, man, we hate that. So I don't know. I don't know if Shreveport feels that way.
I could see that because when you say you're from Michigan, most people just assume you're from Detroit. Right. Oh, you're from Detroit. Well, no, there are other places in Michigan besides
like
Detroit.
Northern Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for not saying South Detroit because that's not a real place. But having said that, the one thing, you and I are both transplants to Indiana.
That is correct.
I was shocked at the popularity of tenderloin sandwiches when I moved here. I'd never had a pork tenderloin sandwich in my life until I moved to Indiana over 20 years ago.
My rabbi used to serve them all the time.
Did he make it rain pork sandwiches? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. He's a rabbi. There are no rain dances that happen. He did what every rabbi would do. He called a catering company, and there they were.
Were they breaded or were they grilled?
Breaded? You know, sometimes it's like you don't even know me at all. Anyway,
I don't know your rabbi.
What does this have to do with anything?
In Indiana, Tony, pork tenderloin sandwiches are everything.
That is true. We take them very seriously. Have you to try and describe a pork tenderloin sandwich would take time. We should do this.
Yes.
All right, we'll bring that up. Labor Day is upon us. Labor Day weekend, 3-day weekend, relaxation, a brisket, if I can find the right one. Otherwise, I'm doing steaks. Hey, don't judge me. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. And as you know, Fingers Malloy on Labor Day likes to kick back with a fine beer on Labor Day.
I'm just a simple blue-collar Joe, Tony.
Because it means it's only 1 week away from opening day of the NFL season.
Oh, see, I thought you were going with it's only 1 week away from pumpkin spice season.
Oh, no. I wouldn't do that to you. Even I wouldn't do that to you. Although, who doesn't love pumpkin spice season? Am I right?
Worst person ever.
So to celebrate, we picked a beer that is perfect for Labor Day. Why? Because it's a porter. And we drink porters and we drink stouts because we like beer with flavor. And IPAs? They suck. That's absolutely right.
I didn't know if you called it. What do you describe IPAs the way you describe Tootsie Rolls?
No, I'd rather have an IPA than a Tootsie Roll.
Okay.
That's how bad Tootsie Rolls are. From Deschutes Brewery in Bend, Oregon, this is the Black Butte Porter, which is a very cool can, by the way. Coming in at 5.5% alcohol by volume. Oh. Right, what? You can applaud that.
Okay.
It's beer.
All right.
It's beer. Yeah, we are not believers in this idea, oh, it's summer, you have to have something crisp. You have to have something hoppy. No, you have to have something good. Every time you have a beer should have a little bit of chew. A beer should tell a story. It should not be something that is just pale and watery. And, well, that was kind of refreshing, and now let me run to the bathroom 12 times. No, beer should have character. Porters, brown ales, stouts. That's the way to go.
Especially since the three kinds of beers you just mentioned pair wonderfully with a cigar.
That much is very, very true. I know very little about the Black Butte people, about the Deschutes Brewery people, and they do some IPAs and they do some other things. But this looked beautiful to Fingers Malloy, and the nose. We cracked open the can, ladies and gentlemen. That's just who we are. No bottles for us. Glassware, feh.
I specifically asked for a dirty glass to drink this out of.
I would have given you one too. There isn't much nose.
No,
I'm not getting a massive hit of anything here. Right? I'm not so much getting that malty kind of feel. I'm not getting so much a coffee kind of nose. Really simple on the nose. It's not bad. It's just nothing's pronounced.
I was going to say, if you get anything, maybe a malty malty malt and a little bit of caramel. I mean,
Yeah.
hint.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's beautiful coloring, by the way. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying that it's not. There's not an intensity.
No.
To the nose.
And by the way, this beer is ice cold.
Yes, we put it in the freezer. That's we do it for you, Eat Drink Smoke Nation. That's right. We get paid for this. Fingers Malloy from Deschutes Brewery, Deschutes, the Black Butte Porter out of Bend, Oregon. You ready for this?
Oh, Tony, I've been ready for this all week.
He is doing what is known as the Kentucky Chew, really what you would do for a bourbon. You move the liquid around the palate, really get a sense of it. Sometimes especially when you're doing a bourbon or a rye, 2 sips. The first one to really set the taste buds. The second sip to really get the flavors. Fingers is going in repeatedly here. He's going in quite a few right there. There were a couple of sips there for Fingers Horatio Ignatius Malloy. Actually, his middle name is Tiberius. What is your take, Fingers?
Well, it is so it's not as thick of a porter as I'm used to. It's got some chocolate notes to it, a little bit of coffee. It's crisp. It's got a little bit of a lager kind of feel to it.
So it's not as heavy as you thought it would be?
It's not. It's lighter. You would never confuse this for, sometimes you'll have a porter and you're like, oh, this has a stout feel to it. You're not going to get that from this. It's very good. I'm very happy with this.
All right, I'm coming in. The Deschutes Brewery Black Butte, Butte. It's not pronounced but. That's funny. That's not how it's pronounced. Black Butte Porter. I'm going in. Here we go.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we like to call the Saginaw Swish, the Memphis Munch.
I'm going to describe it all wrong. And by the way, it's allergies screwing with my voice. I'm fine. First of all, it is very good. It's good. It does have some bounce to it. It has a good smoothness to it. Is that hoppy or is that fruity?
I would lean more towards hoppy than fruity.
The coffee hits in the finish on the tongue, on the tip of the tongue. That grows on you. Because at the first sip, you're like, that's not right. That is not, somebody put the wrong thing in the can. The first sip is awkward. Hold on, let me go back in.
He's going in for his 9th sip, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing the Kentucky Chew.
What's fascinating here is that it doesn't have the traditional bitterness that you would often get from a porter or a stout. And I happen to like that bitterness quite a bit. That means you could drink 3 of these before you knew what hit you. That's okay. I'm telling you, that first sip was off-putting. That first sip was, this isn't right. But the finish of it said, oh, that is really easy. Now, Fingers Malloy, I could do that whole beer.
Well, that's one of the complaints that you hear from people who aren't porter or stout fans is, oh, it's heavy. I can only have one. I could drink a 6-pack of this and be happy. So, I'm really enjoying this, and this is something that would be in my beer fridge.
Do you have a separate beer fridge?
Oh, yeah.
You have a fridge just for beer?
In the garage. Absolutely.
It's not just called the refrigerator?
It's my old refrigerator. It's 24 years old, and all it has in it is beer, some extra frozen meat in there that I'll pull out at some time, and someone gave me a gag gift, a 5th of Fireball, which has been in my freezer now for 7 years.
You can throw that away.
I'm waiting for the right occasion, Tony.
Fingers Malloy, is this in your liquor cabinet? You bought a 6-pack of the Deschutes Black Butte Porter. What did you pay for the 6-pack?
$10.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not as chocolatey as I like, not as coffee focused as I liked, missing that bit of bitterness, but absolutely. And it does actually have, it almost has like a chocolatey chalky finish, which is not, it's kind of fun. That works for summer.
Great for after you're done mowing the lawn.
It's a good Labor Day beer from Deschutes Brewery.
We here at Eat, Drink, Smoke consider ourselves to be cultured.
Yes.
Tony Katz is one who likes to go to museums.
I do.
I am not necessarily a person who likes museums. By the way, my name's Fingers Malloy, and you should be able to tell just by that name, probably not a museum guy, unless it's a museum honoring a diner, and then I'd say sign me up. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Fingers Malloy. He is Tony Katz. Find everything that we do over at our website, eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Tony, there is a museum in Decatur, Georgia.
Funny, there is a house in New Orleans.
Are you going to continue with this?
Nope, that's all I know.
You bust out one line from a song and you're not going to continue with the lyrics?
Nope.
Because
everyone's singing it already. I don't have to worry. I've done my part.
There is a museum in Decatur, Georgia, has a 6-month waiting list to visit it, Tony. And
really?
And the museum, it's a Waffle House museum. Constructed at the site of the first ever Waffle House, the establishment, like I said, is located in Decatur, Georgia. However, it's not a diner, but a Waffle House museum, and it has a 6-month waiting list. You can go and sit at a counter and take yourself back to the 1950s and soak in a little bit of Americana, Tony, sitting in a Waffle House like people sat in 1955. 6-month waiting list.
Can I order?
No.
So I can't. There are no waffles.
No.
Will anybody break out into a fight while I'm there?
This is 1950s Waffle House, Tony.
I'm asking what I'm asking.
According to the New York Post, while the kitchen does not actually produce any waffles, guests can sit at the retro countertop or wear a staffer's hat and pretend they're serving up diner dishes. And people are waiting 6 months to do this, Tony.
Look.
God bless America.
If I'm driving by and I see the Waffle House Museum, I'll be like, you know what? I'm totally stopping in. If I have to make a reservation for the Waffle House and I'm not getting waffles, I don't know what's happening. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I don't think I can be in favor of such a thing. But I think other people should do it, and they should tell us about it. Now, if you say to me, hey, let's plan a trip, and then we'll check it out, I would do it for Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation.
Would you drive to Decatur, Georgia from central Indiana just to visit the Waffle House Museum and then turn around and drive back?
Oh, and the turn around and drive back? No. I will tell you that with my youngest, we have driven up to Chicago before to get popcorn.
Okay.
It's 4 hours, 3.5 hours. Garrett Popcorn, if you've ever had Garrett, they're the ones who I would say made the Chicago mix famous, which is the caramel corn and the cheese popcorn, and mixed together, and it's delightful. And the first time I ever had it, I was in Chicago for work. My wife came to visit, and we went to Garrett, and we got the tub, and we ate the tub on the way back to the hotel room, passed out for 3 hours.
Good for you.
Absolutely true story. That's how good it is. Still that good. Absolutely terrific.
I think the furthest I've ever driven for any kind of food is an hour and 15 minutes. Ordered a pizza on the southwest side of Indianapolis, and I drove home. And tons of willpower, Tony. I made it the entire drive without eating any of it.
Really?
Yeah. My family hates what I like on a pizza.
Wait, what do you like on a pizza?
Banana peppers.
Well, that's fine.
I love banana. Well, some people really hate the smell of banana peppers. And to the point where I tried to do half and half, and the family said, your banana peppers stink up the entire pizza. We don't want to have anything to do with it.
Did you remind them who bought the pizza and then told them just shut it?
They don't care.
I think it's important to set the family straight from time to time on what's going on. Now, you can always order a second pizza, and it's you, and I know you, and you do.
Can I tell you what I did last week?
Oh, good Lord. No part of this can be good.
So the diet is going swimmingly, by the way. I stopped. I had an hour drive home, and I wanted some lunch. I wanted a cheap lunch, and I saw a Little Caesars pizza place, and I got myself one of those hot and ready large pepperoni pizzas that used to be $5. I think they're now $72.50. They aren't $72.50, but inflation. I bought one, and I started eating it in the car. It was an hour-long drive, right? So I ate 4 pieces, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, this is good pizza. I should have a 5th piece. And then you say to yourself, well, this isn't going to be nearly as good reheated later. And next thing you know, I pull into the driveway with an empty box of pizza. Yeah.
Nothing about that story surprises me at all. That is the single most predictable story. You driving and not eating a slice, I think that requires to make sure you're okay. Maybe a full medical workup from the boys in the lab.
Well, this place where I got the pizza that I, traveled an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half, whatever it was, the pizza weighs darn near 10 pounds. So I didn't want to, break a hand or accidentally pull over to the side of the road, lose control of the car and end up in a ditch while I'm picking up a piece of pizza out of the box. So I controlled myself and drove all the way home and made it there. And then I ate that whole pizza too. So everybody has to have a hobby. Mine's being fat.
But I want to go back to the right. You are not. You like what you like on the pizza, and I think it's fine. I think banana peppers are totally fine. I think it's like the pineapple on a pizza thing. We understand that that's all just for social media and just for show. A pineapple on a pizza is just fine.
My favorite pizza is pineapple and banana peppers.
Yes, my youngest adores that combination.
Yeah,
that combination is fantastic. It's sweet, it's salty, it's spicy. It is all the things, right? But you would order a pizza that you like, and then you'd order a pizza for the family, right?
No.
You just make them suffer.
No, I just get what they want.
No. Bad fingers. Bad. You tell them to suffer. It is important that your children know that they're not that special and their needs will not always be met. They better figure out how to survive.
Tony, do I look like the type of person that wouldn't eat a supreme pizza?
Oh,
or a pepperoni pizza if you handed it to me? Yeah.
You would do that, but you like what you like. So why are you sacrificing what you like for these terrible people who mooch off of you and never once contribute?
Sometimes, Tony, you just continue to give and give and give because that's the type of person you are. And the sacrifices that you make will one day pay off when your daughter asks to borrow the car, and when you say no, she says she hates you. And then I go get my pizza.
Wow. Yeah.
Sha-la-la-la.
We seem to have learned a lot. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. See, my voice gets better as I go along. Cigars make everything better. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. The change of season, the allergies, whatever. Screwing with the voice, but not with my love for you, Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. We are smoking from AJ Fernandez. We are smoking the Viva La Vida cigar, the Toro, the 6x54 with that Habana Oscuro wrapper and the Criollo 98 filler. It's spicy. It is full-bodied, but at $10.75 a stick, it goes in someone's humidor because this is the first cigar in a while that matches its price point and delivers for people who like full-bodied and like spice fingers. If these are your profiles, then this cigar works.
For me, that spice has really calmed down in a big way. More of a nuttiness, some wood, and pairing it with this Deschutes Black Butte Porter, it's bringing out some coffee in the stick as well.
Are you getting some coffee out of it?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we are drinking from Deschutes Brewery. This is in Bend, Oregon, Deschutes. Deschutes. I have to learn how to spell. The Black Butte Porter. Very, very interesting because it's brighter than other porters. It is a remarkably clean finish without the bitterness. And as you drink it, it gets better. It gets better as you go. And it's the kind of thing where it's 5.5% alcohol by volume, right? 5.5.
Yep.
You're going to end up drinking 3 of these before you know what hit you. That's going to happen. It does pair nicely with the cigar. I just think that this smoke, first of all, well constructed. It is holding its fire. I've touched it up once, but then again, we put it down very often for a longer period of time because we're doing the show. Easy smoke. A little bit loose on the draw for me, as I said, but in the main, it's working the draw, how you bring the smoke into the mouth. Remember, you're not inhaling. You're just toasting the palate. That's all that you're doing. I think that it's a solid flavor to it.
Do you think now that you've had one, you may cut a little shallower into the cigar for the next one?
No. I'm good with where I cut it.
Okay.
I don't think I need to change. I did a straight cut. I didn't do a V or anything like that. I don't think I changed the cut.
You don't think that would affect the draw at all?
You mean if I intensified it with a V, or I intensified it with a punch, or cut a little more shallow so it had less circumference?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know if that would impact other things, right?
Right.
I think it's possible it just has a bit of a loose draw for me, and that's the way it is. But at 1075, I can see why this is in someone's humidor.
Absolutely.
I get why this is. And the Black Butte Porter from Deschutes Brewery, I absolutely get why that's in somebody's beer fridge, which you have.
Yep, I'm all in. $10 for a 6-pack. It's well worth it.
Yeah. Take a couple of sips, let it build, and then you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, fine. It's time, Fingers Malloy, for News of the Week.
Well, Tony, you lived in the Los Angeles area for a little while.
I did.
So I have some bad news for you. I'm sure you probably visited this establishment at one point. Langer's Deli facing closure due to crime in Los Angeles. It's supposed to be a Los Angeles institution, Tony.
Yeah, I was when I lived in LA, I spent 6 years in Los Angeles. Brent's, which was more in which was in the Valley. And then if I was in areas near downtown, but not specifically downtown, Cantor's is where I would go. But the story is not the deli or where I went. The story is that crime is too much.
Yeah.
And the people who want to say crime is down, crime is low, it's lower than this administration, it's low. We're not having an honest conversation about lower is not enough if a multiplicity of locations cannot stay open. This story writes itself. And rational people would say we need to lower the crime, which means we need to have a greater level of enforcement, not only in how we deal with crime, but in how we report crimes, and demand that we as a society don't accept it. Part of the issue is there is an acceptance going on. There is this idea that crime happens because there are people who are having a hard time, and we just have to be okay with it. We have to understand them. And the idea of, oh, it's okay if they steal from a Target or something. It's a victimless crime. They have insurance. There are no victimless crimes when the Target goes out and now you don't have access to the pharmacy that was inside that Target, when you have to now travel to get to the places you want to go. Victimless crime is a myth. It doesn't exist. And when this store goes out, it won't be like, it was just a restaurant. It will be everyone who works at the restaurant, everybody who had a job because the restaurant existed, providing services to it, food services, napkin services, etc. There's a tremendous ripple effect. You could talk about the economist Bastiat and the idea of the unseen, right? What you see is a restaurant going under. What you don't see is all of the ancillary things connected to that restaurant and how it affects their bottom line, how it affects the families who work at those companies. What you see is not always the real story or the whole story. What is unseen matters greatly, and that requires thought, and that requires a level of decency and respect. And when we do not engage in a fighting of crime, whether it be by law enforcement or rather by our own decision-making to say we won't accept this as a society, what is unseen, what comes in after that, because we want to be somehow nice, destructive to a society and destructive to us as people.
Yeah, which is why I brought the story up, because I know a lot of people are probably saying, well, why are you talking about a restaurant in Los Angeles? But it's that acceptance that you're talking about. The owner, Norm Langer, referred to MacArthur Park, which is apparently near this location. He said, it's just not safe in the area. Too many needles, too much fentanyl, too much drugs. So you got a situation where you've got this restaurant that has been an institution in Los Angeles, and people are saying, I can't go there. I don't feel safe. But too many people are accepting the fact that, well, what are you going to do? It's just homelessness and drugs are taking over, and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, something needs to be done about it.
There are many things that can be done about it. The idea that somehow if you are opposed to homelessness in your neighborhood, that you are uncaring or unfeeling is simply not true. It is a false statement, and it is actually an abusive statement from people who want you to be in an abused place, right? To say that you have to accept homelessness and you have to accept rampant drug use and crime that comes with it, and if you don't, you're somehow uncaring or unfeeling. What they are telling you is that you should stay in the abusive relationship and you should continue to be abused. I only ask, who amongst us believes this? Who amongst us says to the person in the abusive relationship, you don't know how good you have it? No one says this. No one would advocate for saying this. Yet as a society, in place after place after place, very often for outrageously political reasons, we come to this idea of, well, we have to understand. No, what we have to do is either, two things. A, help, and B, not accept. There are people we can't help, and homelessness is a real issue because you deal with people who are A, down on their luck. Those are the easiest people to help, and it happens, and we should be and want to be that society. Drug use and mental illness. Those are much harder. Now, a lot of this will come back to the conversation of you can't have everybody on the streets. Maybe there's a reality to our society that we can't have these people on the streets. They have to be somewhere. But there also has to be a reality too. We won't accept it. We simply won't accept it. It is unkind. It is indecent. It regardless of circumstance, this is not the answer. And neighborhoods and people and societies have to stand up for themselves. And if they don't, they're going to keep getting this. And the society will be worse off for it.
And it's also a situation where not enough people have sympathy for the business owner and the entrepreneur. Too often it's, well, they should just be able to suck it up, or they've got the money, they should be able to deal with it. And we're finding they don't. Hate for businesses leads to societal collapse. And we see it in city after city after city. The deals, Fingers Malloy, they're everywhere. Stop what you're doing and get yourself online and get yourself a fine Labor Day deal this Labor Day weekend. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. No Labor Day deal like our books, Let's Go Bourbon and Let's Go Barbecue, available at Amazon.com. And right now, for a limited time, not on sale. Wow. I got to tell you, Tony, why would it be on sale? Because it's already such a great deal. That's the point. Every day is a sale day for Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation. Head on over to Amazon.com and get Let's Go Bourbon and Let's Go BBQ from us at Eat, Drink, Smoke. This was a terrible plug for those books, and I apologize. I thought it was splendid. Labor Day sales going on all over the place, and we have here a list of the Labor Day deals, including the
COS RX, repairing hydrating secretion. What? Okay. I advanced snail 96 mucin power essence. Hydrating serum for face with snail secretion filtrate for dull skin and fine lines. Korean skincare. Over 4.5 stars with 68,000 ratings on Amazon.
I love how you skipped over the iPad, the AirPods, and the mattress and went right to the repairing essence.
I went to the snail mucin 96%. By the way, the 96%, a little better than the 95%, but not as strong as the 97%. I stole fingers from Lloyd's line right there.
Well, so I've been stopped on the street, Tony, and I've been asked this several
Frisked?
times.
Were you stopped and
No,
frisked?
I haven't been frisked. But people say to me, Fingers, you work with Tony Katz. I say, yes, I do. And they say, what are his skin secrets? That's what they say.
Is that what
They say, what are his skin secrets? Well, how does he keep that youthful look?
Have they asked you what is his epidermis regimen?
They have not asked me that.
Oh, they should.
They didn't even say skin care. They just said skin secrets.
Right.
And then I just walked away.
Smart. That is very good.
Does it have anything to do with snail essence?
Good Lord. What an ad. And 60,000+ reviews. That's so great. You can get a Kasori 6-quart air fryer, normally $120, now only $90. $90, Fingers Moy, for that air fryer, which you love.
Think of how many hot dogs you can cook in a 6-quart air fryer.
Correct answer is 0. Look, I get that people need to do it, right? They might not have a spot for a grill. I'm not telling you not to do it. I am just saying.
It's great for pizza rolls, for Hot Pockets, for hot dogs. Today at the house, it was Sloppy Joe Day.
Is that right?
Yeah, and you know what goes great with Sloppy Joes?
Hot dogs?
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. But no, tater tots. Tater tots made in an air fryer.
Tater tot or French fry?
Tater tot.
Okay, you're wrong. But that's okay. Tater tots are perfect. Lately, sweet potato fries with everything. Absolutely everything is getting sweet potato fries. Love them.
I have not paired sweet potato fries with a steak until last week when you were kind enough to make this old fatty here a big thick steak.
We did some top sirloins, some prime top sirloins grilled.
And with the sweet potato fries, fantastic pairing.
Yeah. An unsung, but a very, very important piece. Now you can also get, for Labor Day, the Vitamix Explorian 2.0 variable speed blender. Normally $379, now only $280 at QVC.
Do you have a Vitamix blender?
I do not have a Vitamix blender.
What kind of blender do you have?
We have a blender.
You don't know them.
Probably a Ninja. You
Yeah.
have a Ninja blender.
Yeah, I've got a Ninja blender.
Do you
I
want
bought
it?
it. I bought it for juicing.
How's that working?
So
Oh, good Lord. There's a story.
I made the mistake once of drinking a green drink that consisted of kale and other greens, and then trying to make an hour drive after I drank it.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
I'll just end the story right there.
I absolutely fully aware of where you're going with this. I think the story here is not what's on sale. Is every holiday a reason for sales? The President's Day sale, which, by the way, there should be no President's Day. Washington, Lincoln, well, that's it. I'm not celebrating every president. Some of them don't deserve it.
Excuse me. There should be a Millard Fillmore Day.
All right, Fillmore Day. That's it.
Thank you.
But Labor Day needs sales? I got Christmas sales. I got Black Friday sales. Am I going to have Arbor Day sales?
I
What?
think there are Arbor Day sales.
There are not Arbor Day sales.
I bet there are Arbor Day
Probably
sales.
are Arbor Day sales. You're absolutely right about that. But isn't it? I mean, look, capitalists, you do what you must. If we're going to argue it that way, isn't it enough?
Because people want to believe they're saving money on something. I mean, how many times do you hear about, these areas of department stores like, or like say a Walmart or a Target where they have a clearance section and they put products on the shelves that say clearance, but they're really regular price, but people are in the clearance section. And so they think they're getting a deal just based on, it's a clearance item. Well, I was going to get a TV, but I really can't afford one. But oh, wait, it's a Labor Day sale. I bet I'm saving money.
Right. It'd be a crime if I didn't buy it. But it works. Look, if I go to IKEA, right? Mm-hmm. I go to the clearance section first, and then I pick up the cinnamon buns. And then maybe walk around that behemoth of a store and say, who would buy this? And then I leave as quickly as possible.
IKEA.
I'm not anti-IKEA. It's just I'm past that.
I hear that IKEA furniture is incredibly difficult to put together. That's the word on the street. I just saw somebody complaining about it today. It's a friend of mine. I got not from IKEA. I purchased one of these TV stands that have an electric fireplace in the middle.
Right.
It's a 50-inch fireplace. It holds up to a 55-inch TV. I'm not exaggerating. No snags putting it together. It took 5 hours to put it together just because it came in a million pieces.
First of all, you didn't just buy it and have it shipped like, here, put it here. You put it together?
Oh, I had it shipped to me, but I had to put it together. And it came in a box much smaller than I thought it was going to come in, to the point where I thought to myself, I don't know if the electric fireplace unit is in this box. Oh, and it was, along with 700 pieces that I had to put together. No snags. Directions were very easy to follow. I started at 7:30 and I finished at 12:30.
First of all, when you say no snags, and then you tell us it took 5 hours, I think I could pick out a snag.
It was, you've got, there were 36 steps in putting this together. And some of it
Which is more than you do in an average day.
That's true. It's like, put 75 dowels in here and put some glue on the end of it. So you're sitting there going, oh, geez, oh, man, I'm putting these dowels in and there's glue.
How much were you sweating?
Oh, my house is climate controlled. It's okay.
Oh, stop. Anytime I have to do that stuff, it's anxiety sweat.
Oh.
It is. I can do it, but why am I doing it?
I thought about that. I thought, why am I doing it? But then when it was finished and I saw that beautiful fake fire in my sunroom, it was all worth it.
Does it throw off heat?
Yes.
Because he wanted a heater for his sunroom for winters. And so he's like, I want to do it just a little decorative. So you got one of these.
Yeah.
It actually throws off heat?
It's supposed to be able to heat a 400 square foot room. And I have a split unit in there. But when it gets really, really cold, the split unit has a hard time keeping up. So have that in there as a little boost. Should be fine. Just don't want to put another one together is all.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't even want to hear you putting it together. From Deschutes Brewery in Bend, Oregon, the Black Butte Porter, $10 for the 6-pack. Yeah, rather good. Give it a couple sips, let it grow on you, and then go from there. And then from AJ Fernandez, the Viva La Vida cigar, under $11. It's going to work for people who like a full-bodied smoke. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media, on Twitter, @Go Eat, Drink, Smoke. On Facebook, facebook.com/Eat Drink Smoke, and Instagram @Eat Drink Smoke Podcast.